Sometimes the best inspiration comes from being uninspired. I've seen a lot of people finding it really hard to find inspiration, and when the weather goes down, the mood kind of drops, and a lot of us feel really down. I feel really down, but that's why I feel like we need to add something different. We need to add a new approach to our music, because that's ultimately holding us back for creating excellent music and music that actually inspires us. I want this session today to be inspiration, that we will be flipping our script. We will be looking in a different corner, just creating music without having all this plan. I want to make EP out of it, I want to make this. I want us to be really spontaneous and different, and that's what we will do today. How to create in a gloomy season when the sun is not out? We will create our own sunshine, guys. So let's do it. Hi, I'm an artist, Victoria Helen, and I'm inviting you to create music and produce stuff in my album with me. We have been struggling a lot, but we have done a lot of lives, we have done a lot of sessions, we have learned different styles, and today I want us to just get cozy, and hopefully soon we will release something. So if you like my videos and you want to hang out with me, then please hit the subscribe and leave me a comment. What would you like to see next? I think this season is best to join a community, it's best to share your art, and it's best to take stuff together, because I feel like it is really sad season. It's somehow all the emotions come out, and at least that's something that has happened with me this season. So I really invite you, open hand, to my Vicky's Art Collective. It's a Discord group. I also have it in Instagram, so if you use either of this or that, then Instagram is also a way. So you can check the link below. So take your cup of tea and let's start creating. Wait a minute. Before we jump into my FL Studio, I want us to acknowledge few things, because I feel like then we can start to open our blockages, we can open our mind, and maybe realize that we have been blocking ourselves. So if you, example, did a project, you're so enthusiastic, or you don't have any idea what to do, you're like, okay, Victoria, I love music, I just create song after song, I just feel like they're dying. And I know what you mean, because every artist have their own kind of like a niche, their own kind of thing, and sometimes people say just like narrow down, so you really stand out as a unique thing. But sometimes I feel like we need a little change. We all know that, but I'm gonna remind us that without change we can't change stuff. So if you have been trying to do music the same way all the time, it's like spice things up and try new stuff. First we need to get out the first draft. There's this cool exercise I've been doing. It's like writing, like just imagining a scenario. So maybe it's the most boring scenario or something, I don't know, me walking in a dirt road, or or it's me walking in the street, or it's me sipping a tea in a dark cold night alone in a room and making a video. That's what I'm doing. I feel like we need to open our minds. Even if you don't have idea, it's time to like get all of these thoughts into paper, and let's call it, we're shaking off the rust that's been on us, because I feel like we are stuck in ourselves, and it's no one's fault, it's just how it is. Sometimes the creativity is not just there, like you're just like I had that too, but I feel like I would say one thing, it's just practice, okay? You just have to do and kind of let go of that, oh, it has to be every time, yes project. It can be a project where you're like and that's fine. And that's what I have come terms with, that I'm not perfect, because maybe someone hears your stuff and they're like, oh, I love that, Victoria, I love what you did, and I heard it a lot, and it really comes to every individual, and I feel like that's what I want you to remember in the first place before we're jumping into this and starting to create. Because for me it's not really hard. There are principles, maybe you lack of knowledge, and I definitely should make maybe like a proper talking session about it, but I just wanted to just open your minds a little bit, just to like think, okay, let's imagine random scenarios, and I'm gonna teach this one cool thing, how we can write a song that may sound a little more interesting, that if we're bored of the same words, how I'm feeling, if you're bored of writing, oh, I'm feeling this and that, and he made me feel that, if you're bored if you're bored of writing such songs, then we can start to write songs in a different perspective. And that's what we can do today. I feel like that will be a great focus. So it's trying to embrace our sadness and embrace that sometimes in our sadness we can't create, although everyone is like, yo, you need to create all the time, but sometimes you can't, and sometimes you just make whatever it is, and that's what you have to accept, that it is whatever it is, and it's gonna be just fine. Everything starts with a spark of an idea. So I take it on my MIDI. As I said, we need to first just do some crazy exercises, maybe learn some new knowledge. We can make more deeper conversation about it later, but I feel like today I want to kind of show like practically how I am approaching sometimes the days when I'm like, I don't know what to do. Actually, I don't have that because I just sit and I write, and I feel like it truly comes from practice. But that's what I'm saying. You just have to play the chords that you're bored with, okay? If you've written 1,000 songs like me or something like that, then you know that these chords the chords are starting to sound tired. So maybe we need to experiment with sounds, or we can experiment with some thoughts that can make the song really special for us. I was thinking, the first thought in my head was like, maybe you have songs right now you really love. You're like, oh, I can't stop listening it. Or if you're like me, you haven't really listened to anything, but you just like certain songs, you can take the chords. Nothing happens if you take their chords. You're just playing the same chords anyways, like in your songs. So sometimes if I am like, I don't know what to do, I just play the chords. So we're gonna just figure out what song we like now. So I'm just gonna say I really liked oh my god, it's gonna sound weird. I haven't really listened to music for long, but I really liked the Taylor Swift song, the Ophelia. So we're gonna see now what were the chords, and let's see how it's gonna play out in a piano. So the key is F, and when you don't know such things like me, I just know how to read it, then you can just try to keep it in mind and maybe try to later figure out where everything is. So we're gonna take out a piano. Like you can just take like a regular piano for now. You know, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to start this way. You can start with also finding a special sound. But I'm gonna start with the regular instruments because that's how I usually write songs. So that's how I prefer writing anything. So if you have you find any cool sounds in FL Studio or whatever DAW you're using, I feel like that's also a way. So let's play some. F key, right? Maybe I should look how should I play it. You know, if you're a singer and you write songs also, I really recommend like testing your vocal range and then seeing what artists also sing in a similar vocal range, because these artists already use the ranges that are really good for their vocals, and I feel like that's really nice to know, because that's when you can like, okay, they use these keys more, maybe I can try it too because my vocal range is the same, you know, or similar. That's something I also done actually that helps me to like not get too overwhelmed of like, oh, what key I have to be. It doesn't matter. It's like, it's all about the feeling and anything you're like trying to say. Or if you don't have idea, like I said, your lack of inspiration, then we're just gonna take a song you love and we're gonna play the chords. This is just one of ideas of my approaches. There are many ways you can do, and as I said, you need to add something new to write a new and better song, or perhaps you need to learn to create better songs, and that's also a way. And that's something I realized for myself. Like, I have to first do the songs that I like, and then maybe I can start to create something I like, because then you're finding the sounds and like, oh, I would really love to use that. That's where the knowledge comes, and within time you will be like, I like this, and then you are a good producer. That's what I'm hoping for. Because it's really hollow, gloomy, I was thinking maybe we can use the sounds with the same theme. It's raining, it's muddy all the time, kind of the mood is over the roof, I'm sad all the time. Like, we can use just something that's like a sad type of giving me the cry moment, you know. Nope. No. I literally, like, when I play some chords, I'm like, oh, I can hear my old song, but I'm like, okay, trash it out, you know? Just go away. Let me just try something else. Rhythmically, we can also change. I feel like that's one thing you can keep in mind. That's how you can make special stuff. Let's just put some click on. I can imagine my songs are usually like 70. Maybe we can do double, so like 148. Something like that, 148. Maybe that's crazy, but I feel like we can try double times. Usually my songs are otherwise like slow. Okay, let's try that. Too good. I don't really like. Let's put just 74. Let's record it. So how we can draw stuff in is pretty simple. Now it is an automation clip, right? So you go to your piano up here and you can see what you played, and it's usually a mess. I really recommend putting on the magnet. I didn't, I totally forgot, but now you'll fix it. So you can just draw, click here, you can draw, delete it with the left click, and it's pretty simple. It's pretty fast what I made, because I'm thinking it's like a moving, like a telling of this gloomy stuff we're going through together, you know. And then you can change it up, like something like longer. You know, I don't care if you can sing or not. I truly believe that if we train ourselves, or if we just let ourselves be and start to be like la 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 la, a little bit like letting ourselves go with a few chords, you know, and then you're already like, oh, I like how it feels, you know, I'm already getting some ideas. This is exactly how it comes, you know. You make, and at some point you're like, oh yeah. So if you can't really sing, just hum. I feel like you can hum even. You can just try to be like, maybe it's it doesn't matter if you're out of tune, okay? You're making yourself, you're experiencing music alone. We gotta allow ourselves to be it. So this is just one pattern. I feel like this is like a verse type. As I said, find your favorite song or some song chords or song you like. Then we just lay out also the chorus part, and the chorus part usually is different because it's in F. Then I feel like you sometimes, you know, you don't touch the F until you start with the chorus. That's also one trick or a thing you can do in your songs, that because if you have chosen a key and you're trying to like learn this stuff, then it's like cooler to sometimes play around and create, if you want in your song some surprise, or you want to emphasize some emotion in the chorus, then in fact it's always good to land on it. So let's just make another pattern. So I'm gonna just put plus icon pattern 2, right? And I'm gonna just play the second pattern, and then we can start to add our special stuff. Now it's time to nurture the idea. So we have laid out two patterns. It's a verse and a chorus, and I changed a little bit because I really like the 3 patternal thing. It makes me simpler to sing, and I kind of like how it goes. So rhythmically it's different, and the BPM is different, I think, also. So now we're gonna nurture, we're gonna build it up, we're gonna just see where it can grow, you know. So let's start with the beginning, so the pattern 1, right? We're gonna put it into pattern up here, and then we're gonna just play the same bass. We're gonna loop some basses, like really regular basses and citrus. Okay, let's just go with that. If you don't know sometimes what to do, just use the original instruments. I feel like that can also help us to just sometimes understand the basics of an instrument, because we often are so electronic, which is totally cool. If you do electronic music, go with that. Or as I said, if you find some cool sound, go with that. Because it's all about a feeling, right? We gotta kind of trust what we're creating over here. Finally, we are back doing this project that we have been doing because I forgot to put the voice. The voice is changed because I now have actually the microphone working. I want to actually, before we get into the lyric, I want to actually like show multiple layers we have done. So we have a bass, a filler, and something else, I believe. Yeah, so we have some type of a lead, something that fills a middle part, then we have something fuller and a usual piano. And in the middle, looks like I have tried also addictive drums, so that's something I did. The drums, like you can see, there's a lot of patternal choices you can choose yourself, and then you can drag and drop this into there. But right now we're using the free functions or features, and I think it's cool. When I'm not in a mood of making drums, sometimes I'm not, because I'm not really consider myself a drummer, so that's how I would use something else, you know. So that is what we built so far, and now we enter the lyrics section, which I really like more. What we also did is kind of section some vocals, added EQ, compressor, dragon heart, reverb, which is just a reverb. Then a pancake is something where you can create ear-to-ear illusions, or whatever you want to call it. It's just something that moves across the table. I want to teach you something that I learned in YouTube, refining the lyrics, like finding the lyrics and how you can write it. Definitely I should make you a longer video about it, which I will after this video, I believe so, or after this next one. So I think what can help you to find lyrics if you feel like sometimes I don't know which way to pursue it. I usually write of my emotions, so I don't really find it hard for myself. Do you think like the more you do it, the better you get at it? And because I like to write and I journal also, that's something that actually builds a muscle. There's so many ways you can write lyrics, you know, direct way. There are like around way. Lens means that you're looking at through something. So if you put on some glasses, let's say the last song, What I'm Building, Ordinary Girl, is actually written through lens. And the lens is, I'm actually talking about self-esteem, you know, but I'm talking in a lens of ocean, which means I'm describing my self-esteem and how I struggle with it and what has been my journey through the ocean. This is like a good way and simpler way to say it. Then we can also add their metaphors. You want to sing like, oh, you make me feel so good, but you know, a lot of people have wrote that way. Maybe you want to be more artistic and more poetic about it. Say, okay, what makes me feel good? What do I like? I love the smell of lilac. I love the smell of, you know, whatever you like. There are people who can resonate with you. What I have wrote is in a lens of feeling like I'm in one white pale room. I guess I was like coming over some sad bump or something. So if you can express what you're feeling, because what you're feeling a lot of people feel, you just don't have to write like the same, oh, it's just raining, I'm walking on the street, you know, like this usual stuff. You can also describe the motion of it. Entrance is more of like, I want to invite people to go through this journey with me, and they end up with me in this white room, this pale room. Let's just say on top of my head, what comes out is like maybe this feeling. Now, because I started through explaining the same feeling, maybe I can tell the opposition. Opposition maybe would be, actually, I have been good. You start with this moody and you're explaining how the feeling is, and then there's this wonder in you, and you wonder like, you know, you can either do that you were sad, and then the verse 2 is like happy. That's something to keep in mind, how you want to play with your song. So let's just write a chorus now. So the lens was that we're ending up in a pale room that's kind of boring, and I'm like forced to be in it, and I can't seem to find the door or something. So that's like a little side story of it. But sitting in your doorstep, baby, I'm alone, sitting on the cold floor.
write sometimes the boring stuff, and then later we come back, okay? Why do you want to say grow, bro? Okay, wait, let me just sing it 1,000 times. Staring at the pale old face, I see I've touched my life. It doesn't make sense. Okay, let me just finish it and then we move on. I beg down, please, and I beg down, please. Literally, I'm breathless. Let's do steep 4 and high pass. That's it. Through the cold in the street, I found myself in a dark, dark room. I layered it so much, it's crazy. So I added doubles, then I added a little bit higher, and then one part higher. I thought I had a third one. I got an fourth one, but I didn't really think it fits there, so I just kept it quite simple. So since you're making a demo, usually I want to keep it simple. I just want there to have a little EQ, compressor on vocals, and something you record the same EQ compressor, and then I just add some reverb and stuff. But for now, we can add the ear candies or something that's kind of like special about this song. I mean, this song is a little bit funny, but it's kind of popish. We kind of succeeded in a way that we weren't really inspired, but we made something, and you could say it's a song, you know? So the question is, how can I express more of that emotion? So now if we thought about even the words, now we have the words, we have this emotion written out. So what I can imagine, maybe a violence, like that's really basic what usually is used in such instruments. As I said, think of the main instruments also. Now we can enchant things, so you feel like you need more snaps, because it kind of sounds pale, like use addicted drums, like I can't really hear it, but in my head I can hear it. We're gonna just add a snap. Now we build it here. As an extra, you can always have something and add something and take out, and that's cool. Okay, usually the special stuff is like some risers and some sound effects, some blips, some breathing, some whatever, blah blah blah. So if you do have a song which you wrote in Lens or whatever, you can add like a dark room effects. You know, everything is kind of tangled in this emotion, and trying to tell that helps us to emphasize this more and makes the song a lot more special. If you don't have ideas, like I just added some weird rhythmic stuff in the middle because I felt like it was kind of empty. Maybe it's too electronic sound, doesn't really matter. We tested, we tried. The takeaway is to be nice with yourself. Only thing that's stopping you and who's saying you are uninspired is yourself, because I always choose to be inspired and go to this session as, what could I do today? What can I learn today? That's pretty much what I want for you. Take away from this session is open the door for yourself. Don't stay in this white room as we wrote today. Open this door. That's it. Don't be afraid. You may write a bad song. Doesn't matter. No one is coming to look at you, you know? Nobody's even looking my songs sometimes. There's things I posted that I didn't like, but some people like them. So it's, again, relative. You never know. Maybe somebody likes it. Maybe somebody needs to hear it. You don't need inspiration. You need yourself. So let's listen what I made. A crazy mess. I definitely need to sing some parts if you can hear some things. But I just do sometimes first takes and I'm like, oh my god, and I do 2-3 takes. I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it, otherwise I'm gonna work on too much on it, because the best clean vocals come when you actually decide to go, okay, now let's do it. But sometimes the first vocal will win. That's it, you know. Let's go. Stones stepped and fell into an empty room. My hands were shaking as I faced the truth. I'm all alone, sitting in the cold floor, staring at the same door that made me come alive. Oh pretty exciting, pretty cool. So we clap yourself. We are proud of ourselves. We're proud of doing something. We're proud of keeping up, learning, experimenting, and doing things, and finally getting things done. So that's the next step. We're gonna get the things done. We're gonna continue next week to make a song beginning until the end. So, and the next one of that, I really hope I can share my knowledge how I can just write, and the the inspiration is all around us. Just find it, open your eyes, and go to it as a curious child. Let me know what else you would like to see. This video was supposed to come last week, but the latest video I was singing live. So if you missed my live and you want to see me singing my songs that I'm trying to finish so bad and finally release, you can check that out. Thank you so much for being here and watching my video, and I hope you find some inspiration, and I want to see you again on the next video. Thank you. Bye.